Hello. Good morning, entrepreneurs. How are you? Yay, yay, yay. Come on, guys, come on. Okay, my role is going to be to ignite you. But before we go to that, I want to pay a special tribute to a special person who is a member of our team and will be a member of our team forever. That's our comment. We lost him this year, unfortunately, but I just want to make this tribute to him. Here is to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square head, the ones who see things different. Thank you, Kamen. You made this happen. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Kamen rocks. Thank you. So, I am very privileged, to be the first speaker, because you know what they said about conferences? You just remember three things. First speaker, last speaker, and if the food was any good. Now, what is next? That's what we're going to talk about for the whole weekend, and I really hope we'll find some answers together. Let me try to dig a bit. Now, first, just to let you know that if I knew that the answer of this question, I wouldn't be here. I'll probably be making a lot of millions somewhere else. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm here with you. So what we're going to do today is to dig a little bit into the facts and figures and what are the predictions for the next year and what, I don't know, what big minds think will be the next thing, and maybe any of you will be able to find their truth in this. So if you're ready, let's go. Before that, a few words about me. Thanks for the great presentation by Radus. She already said I'm the founder of Chase the Cloud, an online video production studio. I'm co-founder of Roca Coca. They make these cool kicks and a lot of more things about fashion. I'm a relentless entrepreneur. I always are looking for starting something new. And what I am a startup enthusiast, as you say, and what I think about myself is I'm a passionate storyteller. But I'm not going to tell you any stories today. I'm going to talk facts. All right, let's go through the situation we are right now. We are here. First, in the World Economic Forum are some guys that are monitoring trends, and they say that in the next year, the most important trends will be persistent structural unemployment. This is not going to change. The problem gets deeper. Intensifying cyber threats. Cyber threats will be a big thing next year, like it or not. Inaction on climate change. We are all talking about climate change. But just Green Hero guys do something. Where are Green Hero guys? Yeah! You'll learn more about Green Hero tomorrow. But what about the inaction on climate change? Where is it leading us to? The expanding middle class in Asia. Does anybody make any money on the expanding middle class in Asia? Well, you should. You should, because that will be the next big thing, probably, the next year. And growing importance of megacities. You know, they say that the megacities will be harbor of democracy. They will save us from slavery. I don't know if that's true, but the trend is going up. And the rapid spread of misinformation. Now, well, you know what they said. You can find anything on Google, but can you find the right information? So, how are we dealing with all these issues? Let's cut out to some figures. You know that right now, 6.8 billion mobile cellular subscriptions at hand. And if you take a look, that's near the whole of the planet's Earth population. Well, that's crazy. Everyone has a mobile phone right now. Near 40% of the world's population, so 40% of them, are actually online, using internet. That's 750 million households. And by the way, they're consuming like 300 and some megabytes of data per household per day. So you can deliver some piece of these with your new applications. The amount of unique information that will be generated this year is, well, if there are any mathematicians in the room, they can read that. I can't. But what I know, that this is more information than we have generated for 5,000 years. Number of Google searches per month was 2.7 billion in 2006, 36 billion in 2009, and last year it was just over 100 billion. What does it all mean? That's an exponential rise of the trends and of the usage of Google. And 60 hours of video are uploaded in YouTube every minute. And 400 billion users use their Facebook profiles every day. 2,600 messages are sent over Twitter every second. And I really hope that some of these are about our conference. So guys, please tweet, tweet, tweet. And now, hold on to your seats, because 35 million selfies are posted on Instagram up to this date. So, about Business Insider, they said Facebook is no longer the most popular social networks for teens. Twitter is. How crazy is that? Teens say that if you have an Instagram and a Twitter, you don't need Facebook. Mobile is growing now 5 times faster than in the internet revolution. And man, I thought that internet revolution was fast. Okay, whatever the next big thing, it will grow faster than that. Can we cope with the pace? What can we do to cope with the pace? What about the Internet of Things? The smart connected devices to reach 13 billion in 2016. Or even a more wild prediction, 50 billion devices by 2020. 50 billion devices, guys. Anybody who don't know what's the Internet of Things here? Oh, crazy. We have an educated crowd. Okay, that leads us to several things to consider about Internet of Things. First, the IP version 6. We cannot connect 50 billion devices with the current technology. So that transition should happen, and it should happen now. Anybody who's in that business will prosper, I guess. It's about sensors, because if you're going to do Internet of Things, you need to have a lot of different sensors. So anybody in the sensors manufacturing, if you have an idea about sensor, now is your time. Big data is getting bigger. Now imagine 50 billion devices producing data. What are we going to do with that? Analytics, probably. Clouds that scale. Just recently we were talking about clouds. It's the cutting-edge technology, but right now we need clouds that can scale right now, fast, and probably not that expensive. Education needed. I'm worried that in few years, my grandmother won't be able to operate her washing machine because it will be smarter. So imagine the amount of education that we need to turn on if you want these Internet things to be started using globally. And product design, all of these strange things. How can you put sensors in your shoe and it still be comfortable? You will learn that tomorrow, because the Steps guys will tell you about their new cool gadget. So product design will be very, very hot topic next year or so. What about the Industrial Revolution 2.0? Well, that's what they said about the 3D printing. You know what about the 3D printing? It's very fascinating. That is the first publicly available printer in 1988. I would never knew that they actually did have the technology back there. In 2005, they introduced the first HD 3D printer. And just about recently, we have open source do-it-yourself printer for your desktop. And the most amazing stuff is the prices. Right now, you can buy one for $2,000. And by the way, we have one here in Sofia. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's crazy. Just recently, it turns out that Apple plans to spend 10 billion on manufacturing robots. They are going to automate all of their processes next year. 10.5 billion, that's major about robots. And what are the 3 ultimate gifts for Christmas 14, not this Christmas, the next one. That will be Wowie RoboMe RoboKit for your iPhone. It turns your iPhone into a robot, and you can control it and program it. Crazy. What about Bo and Yana? Your 5-year-old kid can program this to do stuff, and it learns by itself. What about a lip gesture controller for a Mac or PC? All of these are under a $150 price tag. And by the way, IKEA launches augmented reality catalog next year. You can check how your new will look in your apartment before you purchase it. How cool is that? Games, anyone? Come on, who loves games? 70% of the world's largest companies are expected to have deployed at least one gamified app by 2014. That's huge business opportunity for gamifiers. But you know what? 80% of the current gamifying apps will fail. Due to what? Poor design. That means that we know very little about how to design gamification, but still, that's a very hot trending topic. And personally, I'm insulted when somebody puts a slide like this in a presentation, but it's just too cool to be left out. So if anybody hasn't heard about Gartner's hype cycle, this is it. This is crazy, because if you see, I will just take a few minutes to explain it. If you see the curve, the peak of the curve is actually the inflated expectations that we have about technology, and the plateau is actually the implementation of technology in our real life. So on the right, what we should be doing, on the left, what we should be thinking of. And for example, you can see that 3D printing over there, I do really have something like a pointer, the 3D printing over there is in the peak of inflated expectations. So it's just might be a big flop, a big hype. What is a hype and what will be a real thing? Well, I don't think that Gartners know, but they try to visualize it. And you know what? After that slope, it comes the truth of delusionment. Oh, crazy. For example, the text analytics. A lot of people think that they know about text analytics, but it's not going to happen because right now we are very delusional about these technologies and how we're going to make money out of this. So I'm not going to bore you anymore with that. You have it on the internet. It's very interesting. Take your time to check it out. Do you agree that atoms are the new bits? That's what they said. And I have a question for you. Will scientists be the new geeks? I bet they will. Because right now it's very cool to be geek, to be a developer, to create stuff. But I think that scientists will be the next big thing in coolness. Check this out. About financials. Let's talk about financials a bit. We've been in the slowest pace of growth for the last, I don't know, 4 years. And the next year, ICT is planning to spend $2 trillion on business technology. Do you have a slice out of these $2 billion? If you don't, go get it. It's about time. Now, they ask a question, what is your perspective on the stage of the global economy today? And people last October said, few people said, it's okay. 30% said, nah, it's not going to work. But what about this October? 65% say that economy is actually going ahead. So we do have something like a positive attitude about economy next year. Maybe that's all we need to have. A lot of financial guys will be here in a minute and we'll talk about financing. So I will skip the standard financials and I'll talk about crowdfunding worldwide. Do you know what's happening with crowdfunding? In 2011, it was 1.5 billion business. Now, last year it was 2.7, and this year it will be 5. That I can see a very steady growth in crowdfunding investments. And what is interesting and is not in the presentation, to let you know that majority of the projects that are funded, are actually social responsibility ideas. 30% of the crowd-funded projects are social responsible ones. And then comes the business with 18% and 16% about films and some motion arts. So that's interesting. If you have social responsible idea, maybe crowdfunding is for you, or maybe you should consider crowdfunding at all. And as we speak, and as I wrote this presentation on Thursday, Bitcoin just topped $1,000. Now, could it be the next big thing? Is it Bitcoin coming to liberate us from the financial slavery? We will see. And as we talk about money, Nick Hanauer, one of the most successful entrepreneurs, one of the first investment in Amazon and a bunch of other companies, said, rich people don't create jobs. And you know what happened? They banned the talk. They refused to put it on their website. It's controversial. What about that? 23-year-old Evan Spiegel, the founder of Snapchat, just turned down $3 billion from Facebook and a $4 billion bid from Google. Sorry, guys. $4 billion. Yep. Is he crazy or what? $4 billion for a Snapchat. I don't know. Okay, Stani, enough with all the facts you're talking about, blah, 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 gibberish, or you're jumping on different topics. What does it all mean? Well, one thing is for sure. For the next 10 years, there'll be more confusion in the world than it was ever before. And the current pace of change will only accelerate. That is for sure. Nothing else is. So, let me break it to you guys. Financial crisis, oil depletion, water crisis, species extinction, and I'm not talking about some extravaganza species. I'm talking about species that humankind rely on for survival. And climate change, all of these things are here to stay. We cannot just sit down quietly and wait for it to go away. This is here to stay. Like it or not, we have to leave it. And because we are entrepreneurs, we need to act on it. And as Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. And I'm sure, guys, I'm sure about you, that a year from now, you may wish you had started today. So just get out and start whatever you want and make your dreams happen right now. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. And by the way, just before you said Stani came here and talked a lot of bullshit and wasted our time, these 20 minutes, I have prepared a takeaway from you. These are going to be the next colors for the next year ponton set. So if you're going to design anything next year, please use the colors. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the conference and find out what's next